Chicago clubs unite to defend indie music. That's cool. Venues that have nurtured Nirvana, I've heard of them. They're pretty good. Smashing Pumpkins, also a fan. Liz Phair, yep, on board. Nico Case, yeah. I've seen half of those groups. I've seen Nico Case before, which I'm stoked to report I've done. And I've seen the Pumpkins. Nirvana, never had a chance. Liz Phair, haven't seen her. Would love to see her, but haven't seen Liz Phair. All right, anyway. So these group of venues formed the Chicago Independent Venues League in the face of the planned Lincoln Yards development. Some of the most influential music promoters in the nation banded together in Chicago Thursday to unite against a development project they say threatens their business, their independence, and the city's cultural vitality. Several owners of small independent music clubs that have nurtured the... All right, we already read that part. So they've united, going by the acronym CIVIL, Chicago Independent Venues League, in the face of the controversial Sterling Bay development, Lincoln Yards, on the north side of Chicago. Charging that Sterling Bay had already made an exclusive deal with the music industry behemoth Live Nation to control entertainment in the proposed $5 billion, 55-acre complex set to straddle the north branch of the Chicago River, they urged the city government to slow the process and await the results of next year's municipal election to determine the final size and scope of the development. Speculating on plans that Live Nation might open a pair of music spots, or as many as half a dozen in Lincoln Yards, along with a soccer stadium, Robert Gomez, civil co-chairman and owner of the clubs Subterranean and Beat Kitchen, both legendary venues by the way, said, "Is this like a shopping mall of music venues? Gross." I agree with you. The owners in their clubs include Joe Shanahan's I'm not sure how to say that, Smart Bar, I'm familiar with Smart Bar, and Metro, a punk palace that has played host to legendary shows by Nirvana and the Smashing Pumpkins, and Alkaline Trio. Let's give a shout out to some Chicago, although, well, Smashing Pumpkins are a Chicago band, so they do have a local band covered, but, you know, Alkaline Trio also played the Metro a lot. They would play it on New Year's Eve sometimes. Smart Bar and Metro I'm familiar with. G-Man I'm not familiar with. I don't even know if that's how I'm pronouncing it. But I've never lived in Chicago. Although, in my homeless days, my car was parked in Chicago an awful lot because it was on the way to everywhere, and I have a bunch of friends in that town. All right, Katie and Tim Tootin's club, The Hideout, and that sits in Lincoln Yards. Michael Johnson's Shoe Buzz. Shoe Buzz is another legendary venue in Lincoln Hall. Bruce Fatima's Thalia Hall, that's a legendary venue, Promontory, and the Empty Bottle, and Ray Quinn's Murders, a Northside neighborhood staple that, like the Hideout, has played host to the seminal British punk band The Menkins and Billy Helmkamp's new Sleeping Village in the Whistler. So basically what's happening here is a big behemoth, Live Nation, is trying to flatten the area and import as one of the venue owners in the civil group put it, a shopping mall of music venues in an attempt to completely homogenize concert going in that area. How do you avoid that? Well, you have independent venues. And they're trying to stamp out these independent venues, and they're fighting back by forming a coalition of people who care about music, people who own these venues, people who participate in their community, and people who vote. This is what you need to do to fight back. And as a lover of local politics, a lover of local activism, and a lover of music, I support them 110%. If you live in Chicago, please see how you can help out. And I can assure you when the Progressive Comedy Tour comes to Chicago, we will, of course, be playing one of these independent venues. That goes without saying, but of course that's where we'll be. We're not a huge market event by any means, I know that, but of course, we always try to do our part the best we can. Shout out to these guys. They're doing something awesome. And it's a bummer that they're facing this, but it's good news that they're doing something about it. And hopefully they're successful. And we'll continue to watch this unfold.
Get your news on with Ron. Don't you want to know what's going on? We're getting our news on today. Get your news on with Ron. Don't you want to know what's going on? We're getting our news on today. You can tweet me an article at Ron Placone. We'll go through it together and make it our own. Get your